Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos, and CirclingSpace.com, an online place where we gather together to share more authentic communication and connection. So I have freebies below for both of those sites, and I hope to see you there. Today we are on the 6th video in our series on traits that open each chakra, light shadow traits. Now, if you're not familiar with what shadow is, go back and watch the first video in this series, or I have two other regular shadow, not light shadow, regular shadow playlists below. Go to the introductory videos in those playlists to learn a little more about shadow. But basically, shadow is the part, or I should say shadow is the different parts of us that we have put aside because as we were socialized and as we developed, we were taught that these parts of us were unacceptable. Some of these things were very dark, but surprisingly, some of these things were the light. And according to Marianne Williamson, she has a very famous quote about how the hardest thing for us to embrace is our light, our godliness, our potentials, our full potential. So that's what we're doing in this series. And we're now on the third eye. So what kind of traits, we're going to look at 3 traits. What traits do you think here we would need to embrace or desire to embrace in order to fully open our third eye? Feel into that for a moment. The third eye chakra is the highest feminine. It's the 6th chakra from the base. And we have the sacral, the heart, and the third eye are feminine. So this is the wise feminine. It's the chakra of equilibrium, balance, because our nadis, the channels of energy that move up our body on the left and right, go through the chakras and they meet up here in the third eye. So there's a sense of unity, of balance, of fairness, of oneness, of things kind of coming together in an embodied way. In the crown chakra, everything is unified, but it's energetic unity. Here in the third eye, it's real world unity. There's such a fairness here. There's a love of beauty, and there is obviously a huge connection to intuition and all sorts of psychic skills, particularly clairvoyance. Okay, so that's the third eye. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up 3 traits, and I'm also going to bring up 3 techniques for each trait so that we actually embody these traits. It's no good to just talk about them. We want your body to get the memo, and I want my body to get the memo that this is a trait I can embrace. I can bring it back home to myself. So the first trait we're going to look at here is wise. Wise. Feel into that. How much can you accept your wisdom? Now, journal about it. That's the first technique. Journal about wisdom and what happened when you were younger, particularly like around 1st grade or so, 6 years old and 13 years old are really good ages for this third eye energy. Were you listened to? Did you get to share your ideas about the world and you were respected? There was an actual respect. Did you have wise elders? Did you have maybe your caregivers, their parents, like your grandparents or another generation that was older, wiser, that everyone looked up to? Was wisdom respected in your childhood or was it not? And wise isn't smart at all. There's not that, those aren't synonyms, but sometimes we tend to put them together. So were you taught or was anything said about your intelligence that makes you feel you can't actually be wise? Because they're actually different. Listen to the whole flock of, I'm watching a whole flock of green parrots, wild parrots fly over. That's what you just heard. So journal about wisdom in your life, and particularly look at age 6 and age 13, any experiences you had then about being listened to or about being able to share your beliefs of life and your thoughts and all that. Now let's go to technique number 2, which is a transformational power question, TPQs. And again, if you don't know what those are, there's a link below to find out why TPQs are better than affirmations, because they work with your unconscious mind in a positive way. The affirmations often work with the unconscious mind in a negative way, like we argue with the affirmations. I know my mind does, and I've seen lots of my clients, their mind does as well. So you can't lose with using a transformational power question. This is a why question. So it would be, why am I getting wiser every day? Or you could even say, why am I wiser every day? But I do like, why am I getting wiser every day? Write that one down, put it all over the sticky notes, put it around your home, and let it affect you, your psyche, your body. Okay, the next and last technique is tapping. Yay for tapping. It's so effective, especially for creating change in the body. Because if we only create change in the energy field and we don't create it in the body, we'll feel this split. Like our thoughts will be mature, but our body will want to do something else. So let's really give some kudos to tapping. And with tapping, we need a setup statement. If you've never tapped before, you're just going to copy what I do when I get to the third trait. And then these setup statements that you create for each trait, you can then do the tapping on your own. Because tapping takes a while, so we have time to tap on one of these traits today. All right, so the setup statement here can be, even though I don't feel wise, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So that would be the whole setup statement. Even though I don't feel wise, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So tuck that one away, and let's move on to trait number 2 for the third eye. So I was really working with this one, like, how do I get this one in? Because it doesn't sound like that much of a light shadow, but if you think about it, I'm not sure how much of us really let it in. But this is the idea of being unbiased, or very, very fair to all. Just an overall fairness in your being, like not even biased toward yourself in a situation. Like if you're in a situation where someone's got a different opinion than you, you're super, super fair in looking at their point of view. Okay, so it's this really incredible type of fairness, like the shiny version of fairness. Can you feel that? And I think in this day and age, it's needed more than ever before. And this is actually what happens in the third eye. The third eye is the ultimate judge of things, because she, and I'm saying she because it's the highest feminine, can look at everything from a perspective of what is good for all, for everyone, and look at all these different perspectives, everyone's different perspectives. So the first thing you want to do is look at fairness in your life. Was there fairness? Journal on that. The first technique is to journal. Were things fair? Did you receive fairness? Was there a lot of things that weren't fair in your family? Like you had an older sibling who hit you all the time, or and you would say something, but to your parents, this older sibling was the good behaving child in the family, so you didn't get a fair listening of what you were saying about it. That would be one. Did your parents, like maybe you were accused unfairly at school of doing something, and your parents came and they sided with the school, with a teacher, even though the teacher didn't know the whole truth? Was there fairness in your life? Are you in a minority, or in a situation where you were treated really unfairly simply because of your class, or the color of your skin, or even your gender, the role you had somewhere, right? Has there been unfairness in your life, and have you been able to turn that into being more fair, or has that affected you in a way that you don't want to be fair? So just journal on all this stuff and feel into, how fair are you? How equal-minded are you around taking care of all, being good for all. So the second tool to use is the transformational power question. And the question here is, why am I getting more fair every day? Why am I able to take a more fair perspective every day? Can you feel that? Why am I getting more fair? And if that doesn't inspire you, fair, to say, why can I take a more fair perspective every day? Okay? And then finally, tapping. With the tapping, it would be even though I'm biased. So we're just going to take the negative, because we want in tapping to kind of bring up any of the energy we have around something that's a little emotional or triggered. And that way, as we tap, we calm it down. Even though I'm biased, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with biased, and we're going to tap through noticing we're biased, noticing our biases. I long to be more fair, and take it all the way through to the point that I really, I wonder what it would feel like to be really fair. I wonder what it would feel like to take others' perspectives. And then until we embrace it, I really love that I can take a fair perspective. I feel like I could be the fairest judge in the world. And you just tap through. So you go all the way from I'm biased to I'm very fair. So put that aside, and we'll go on to trait number 3. You're going to tap with me on this one. And I bet you can guess what it is, because we are in the third eye, and this is the place of psychic abilities and intuition. So the third quality is I'm intuitive or psychic. Psychic is harder for people to take, and intuition is a form of being psychic. So let's do it with psychic. We'll start with psychic. Now, the first thing to use is your journaling, the first technique. So journal on this. Feel in, particularly, like I said, when you were 6 or when you were 13. Did you have premonitions, intuitions? Did you perhaps see ghosts or see things that you now can't see? Was it supported? Was it not supported or put down? Is it in your lineage at all? Do you have a lineage of psychic people? Particularly, I find this in the women's lineage a lot of times. Do you have a lineage of there being psychic abilities in your family and they're respected? Or was that sort of thing considered evil or taboo? If it was, it's very likely a shadow for you if it was evil or taboo. So just journal away on if you had any psychic abilities when you were younger, and if they were accepted or not, and what your family felt around those talents. And the second tool is the transformational power question, the TPQ. So here it's going to be, why am I getting more psychic every day? Why am I more in touch with my psychic abilities every day? Why am I getting more psychic every day? Or why am I getting more in touch with my psychic abilities every day? Whichever one feels best to you, write it down on sticky notes and put it up all over your house, maybe even in your car, and then read it out loud when you see it. Okay? And that will simply ignite your unconscious to just feel into all of your intuitive abilities. Finally, we're going to tap. If you've never tapped, just follow along. It's really, really easy, and you're going to find that it tends to start to put you in a very trancy state. That's the power of tapping. We take something that initially triggers us, and we tap until it calms, and we create a new bodily relationship with the idea. So I realized that a lot of times there's a real resistance, even with my friends who are more spiritual and know they're psychic. They sometimes have a really deep resistance that comes from their logical mind, or comes from their family and the people around them, or their job that is more linear, more logical. So this is a powerful one to tap on. So let's do this, okay? So we're going to start with the karate chop points right here, and you can take your fingers and just work the karate chop point on the fleshy part of the palm, the side of the palm, or you can do both. I do both like this. And as we're tapping, you can tap both sides. I will tap one side. It's a little complicated for me to tap both, especially as I'm talking to you. So I will just do the right side. Let's start here. The setup statement here is going to be, and we want to actually own our psychic abilities, right? So I start with the negative, even though I don't feel psychic, or even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities, right? I will start with, even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities. And yours might be that you don't even think you're psychic at all, but you could not feel you're psychic because you're not comfortable with this natural part of you. Okay? So we're going to start with, even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now you can write all that down if you like. You can pause here and write it down. I will also be putting it up here in words. So just repeat after me with the karate chop points. Even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now going through the points, starting at the crown. I don't feel comfortable with my psychic abilities. I don't even know if I am psychic. Sometimes it feels like I am. But who knows? Maybe I'm kidding myself. Maybe I'm not psychic at all. And maybe that's good, because people might judge me if I'm psychic. Ooh, I don't want people to judge me for being psychic. I don't want people to feel I'm weird because I'm psychic. I mean, what if they call me a witch? I don't want to lose people's approval. It's scary to claim my psychic abilities. My natural intuition. Sometimes I just don't listen to myself. I feel it, but I don't listen. Because I'm scared of my psychic abilities. I wonder whose fear that is. Might not even be mine. I actually enjoy my intuitive hits. They feel good in my body. I wonder how I could embrace my psychic abilities more. I wonder if I can trust my psychic abilities more. I'm going to listen to my intuition more. I'm going to write down what my intuition tells me. I'm going to act on what my intuition tells me. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with my psychic abilities. I wonder where they're going to lead me. I know there's wisdom in my intuition. I'm excited about listening to my intuition. I'm excited about sharing my psychic gifts. Yeah, I'm really excited about sharing my psychic gifts. Release your hands on your lap. Take a deep breath from the core of the earth to the crown of your head. And exhale and let it all go. Inhale again from the core of the earth to the crown of your head. And exhale and let it all just sift down through your body, feeling the shifts. And then one more time from the core of the earth to the crown of your head. And exhale and let it all go, just sifting and letting go of anything that was blocking those psychic abilities. And give yourself a big hug. You can now own these psychic abilities. Good for you. I'm feeling good in my body right now and feeling much more tied to my intuition. I hope you are too. On the next video, we are going to look at 3 light shadow traits for the crown chakra. There's a lot of light up there, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you on that video. Until then, I hope you have a very intuitively tapped in week, and I'm sending you lots of love.